Hello, everyone. Good morning. Dear
Yeah,
authors and invited guests, welcome to Technical Session 4B. Myself, Ayush Garg, and this session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the 8th International Conference on Information and Communication Technology for Competitive Strategy ICTCS 2023, Jaipur, India. The 8th edition of this conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event is being organized yesterday in Jaipur, India, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom yesterday and today, that is 8th and 9th December 2023. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session through the day. This session, we have 10 presentation. Each presenter will be given 8 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for the question and answer. On the 7th minute, I will raise a gentle reminder. There is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the closing remarks. If you have any query or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. Just before we start the session, I would like to introduce you all to the chair of this session, Dr. Geeta Navel. Is currently working as a professor and head of Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Singhat University of Technology and Science, Pune, Maharashtra. He has teaching experience of 25 years and has 30 plus international journal publications. He has also been the part of 20 plus international and national conference and has 3 patents. I welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am, if you want to introduce yourself for 1 minute, you are open to do so. Moving towards our first presentation, now I would like to call A. Kannan to present his paper on a comprehensive study on plant classification using machine learning models. You may please start your presentation. Mr. A. Kannan, moving forward with the presentation, now I would like to call Deepti to present her paper on analyzing user profiles for bot account detection on Twitter via machine learning approach. You may please start your presentation.
Hello, good morning, Ayush. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
Is my screen visible, Ayush?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, can I start?
Yes.
Okay. A very good morning to all. My name is Dipta Nikku. I'm here to present my paper analyzing user profiles for bot account detection on Twitter via machine learning approaches. So, an introduction about why there is a bot detection technique that is needed. So if you look at social media platforms today, many users are engaging. They're using social media platforms. So mostly users prefer using social media because not many content is customized. They get to view what they want. They can comment, they can like, they can share, they can interact with the similar users. But on the other hand, the creators of the post, creators of content, they want to reach maximum users, so many a times bots are involved in sharing the information. So in layman terms, bots are basically an automated account that doesn't require any human intervention. They are basically been designed to share the post, like comment and share the post so that it can reach maximum users. So, but then nowadays these bots are involved in lot many malicious activities. They are spamming users, they are also involved in fake information or misguiding information sharing. They are also involved in target harassments. So these, because of all these things, users basically get a very negative experience on social media. So these things are actually threatening the security and privacy of an individual, or we can say an organization as well. There has been lot many instances wherein fake or impersonated profiles are involved. There could be presidential elections. It's also been observed that whenever there is an elections occurring in a particular country, lot many accounts are suddenly being created on social media, and these accounts are coordinating, and they involve in sharing lot many information or posts. As a result, it's very important to have an automated system that can detect these bot accounts, and they can be, removed quickly before any much damage has occurred. So my literature review will be towards automating this bot detection. So in the area of artificial intelligence, what all work has been done, that I'll be trying to review. So the paper one basically talks about it's a survey paper. It talks about how social bots are there, how these bots coordinate in online campaigns. So a detailed analysis of social bots, their detection mechanisms, what are state of art machine learning techniques, their coordinated strategies have been discussed. The paper also highlights a future scope that along with detecting bots, bot coordination activities should be also be highlighted, because how they coordinate can also give us a much analysis. Lot many other frameworks like credibility analysis frameworks have been also been designed. So paper two talks about it. So it designs a text credibility framework, a user credibility, and social credibility framework. Based upon these three frameworks, it's able to analyze a social media post. So it also the paper also highlights a future scope that sentiment analysis and other multimedia analysis like analyzing the images and videos can also be added. Paper 3 also talks about how big data analytics can be used in Twitter bot detection. They have also presented many machine learning and deep learning techniques. They have highlighted the area that feature selection is quite important. So if you look at the user profiles, lot many profiles or lot many features are involved. So out of those features, which features are very important should be chosen. So feature selection is very important over here. Data labeling, as lot many people are there, lot many user profiles are there. So how labeling is also a very task over there. Again, balancing data sets, like data balancing data set problem I also faced in my problem, because the bot accounts were very high and the real accounts were, so I need to balance it. Also, false positive measure should be very low, that is falsely classifying an account as a bot account, so that activity should also be very low. So the paper 4 and 5 also talks about how machine learning algorithms are basically used in bot detection. Paper 5 is little interesting because it talks about that fake accounts can be created by humans as well as bots. So how can we distinguish between fake accounts created by humans and bots? So it says that it highlights the future scope that we should also add psychology features in the existing bot detection feature set, so that these features can also be used to highlight by fake accounts created by humans. So paper 6, 7, and 8 also talks about how what user profiles features should be targeted, which user profiles gives us a very good information about account being bot or uh, uh, a real account. Paper 8 also uses different other features related to user content graph based, and it has also used machine learning algorithms like J48 naive based classifier, and a comparative analysis is basically presented. Paper 9 and 10 also talks about approaches that has been used. So total 19 features they have used. So those features include metadata, content, and interaction between the users. Paper 10 talks about the statistical features and a drift problem in Twitter, and how those problems are being rectified. So to summarize, what are the different features and what are the different machine learning algorithms that are used in literature? So if we summarize, text feature, user or profile based features, content based, network or graph based features, and some metadata. The features are broadly classified into these parameters, and then machine learning approaches are being applied on these features to classify whether the account can be a bot account or not. So for text, spam based, bag of words, misspelled words are used. Lot many features are used for user profiles, like if the account is verified, creation time of the account, verified users, gender, age, personality. And for content based, it is the URL ratio, the mentions ratio, the content hashtag, URL mentions, automated tweet URL, graph based, there are followers rate, mean followers ratio, reputation has been calculated, followers reputation clustering, reputation community clustering, and so on. And some metadata features are considered. In machine learning algorithm, means the random forest, decision trees, Bayesian, J48, naive Bayes, and all are used. So the gap here
Sorry
identified
for the
from.
interruption, but you have only 1 minute left for your
Yes,
presentation.
yes, I'll just wind up. Uh, about the about the methodology, so user profiles are considered, pre-processing has been done, prominent features are selected, exploratory data analysis has been done, machine learning algorithms are implemented, and then a account classified as bot or human. So this is wherein oversampling is done, that is to bridge the gap between the data imbalancing, SWOT analysis is applied, and the figure presents the difference. Exploratory data analysis is done. So the figure number 4 basically talks about how human accounts are. Figure 5 is a box plot for age of the account. And feature engineering, 3 feature engineering techniques are applied, that is principal component analysis, filter method via correlation, recursive filter, addition. So from 21 features which are there in the data set, PCA is able to give me 8 features, correlation gives me 13 features, recursive I'm able to reduce it to 11 features. So these are the features which are being considered for further by the machine learning algorithms. And here, want to highlight that some features are also derived from the actual data set, that is age, account, Twitter frequency, follower frequency, friends frequency. These machine learning algorithms are actually applied, and these are the results. So for every machine learning algorithm, all the features are considered, results with the PCA, results with the correlation, results with the recursive correlation are presented. It's been observed that the ensemble approaches, that is random forest and XGBoost, gives us the best accuracy. False positive rate for these two algorithms are also comparatively very low. To highlight, naive Bayes doesn't give good results. The false positive rate for naive Bayes is very high. So these are the confusion matrix for the two best methods, that is random forest plus correlation and XGBoost plus correlation. It is highlighted that the true positive and true negatives are very high, and false negatives and false positives are comparatively very low. So the models have been trained properly, and they have been able to classify the bot account successfully. This is in AUC and ROC curve for all the algorithms. So it has been observed that the red ones, that is random forest, and the XGBoost, the yellow ones, are trying to reach the top left. So those are the good models. So to summarize, an automated bot detection mechanism using machine learning algorithms are implemented. Certain features have been derived from the existing data set, like age of account and ratio of friend followers are prominent. Comparative analysis of the is presented in terms of accuracy, precision, recall, FN score, false positive. It is observed that the ensemble techniques like random forest and XGBoost combined with the correlation filter gives us the best performance, and it has the lower false positive rate. So this bot detection technique can very well be integrated with the other systems, like in fake news detection. It can be one of the component of fake news detection, because in fake news detection, it is observed that on the social media, when the content gets viral, network of users are involved. In that network of users, many users are bot accounts. So this system can very well be integrated with the fake news detection systems. And further are the references, and thank you.
I request session chair to begin the question on the session for next 1 minute.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, you said random forest is giving base result, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Why? What is the reason?
And random forest basically is an ensemble. So it takes many decision trees together. So that is the reason I think it is observed that the ensemble approaches, that is XGBoost as well as random forest, are giving good. So if I only implement one decision tree, I'm not reaching the accuracy. But if I apply random forest, the accuracy is reaching at a good level.
Which data set you have used?
Data set I've received from Kaggle, ma'am. It's a data set I've got it from Kaggle. So it has total.
What is its size?
It is a big data set, ma'am. Around 40,000 samples are there. into that.
And how many attributes?
There are 21 features total. So
Okay.
those a lot many are there, like the profile of the if the profile has a photo, if the profile has extended photo,
Okay.
then
And
the title.
you have
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have tested with 40,000 day samples, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
if the size of the data set is increased, does the random forest will affect?
No, ma'am. I mean, it should not affect because the data set is quite good. 40,000 samples are quite good. So the accuracy should not go down. It will either improve further, but it will not go down.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Moving towards our next presentation, now I would like to call Joao to present his paper on assessing the impact of social factors on the behavior of diabetic patient with neuropathy. You may please start your presentation. Mr. Joao, moving forward with the next presentation, now I would like to call Parikshit to present his paper on blockchain integrated metaverse for academia, a solution for virtual classes, lectures, and project funding. You may please start your presentation.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'll start sharing my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So our project is metaverse and blockchain for academia perspective, as in university or school or college scenarios, how metaverse and blockchain could bring a huge impact. So So first of all, let me discuss what is the problem statement that we are solving here. So basically, let's say in the COVID-19 times where it was physically impossible to attend schools, colleges. Uh, so what we resorted to was having virtual classes, online meets on Zoom, on Google Meet, and all of this, and that has been continuing for some extent till today. But the problem in that is you lack the interaction, the human to human interaction, the real world like interaction between lecturers and students. And after some time, it becomes tiring, it becomes uh, non-interactive, very boring. So what we are aiming to achieve here is to build a virtual university, a virtual classroom, where students and lecturers can join, and they'll have their digital twins in the metaverse, and they will be interacting with each other like how you would interact in a normal physical setting. So that is the problem we are solving, and we are also exploring how blockchain can help in many of these aspects of virtual classroom. So basically, there are three things that we are tackling in our project. One is online and distance education, where we are providing a virtual environment, a virtual university where, where students and faculty can come interact. And also we are tackling the project funding for students and faculty in universities, how we can integrate blockchain to fast track and have a secure funding uh, thing in your university. And also we have a college management DAO. So DAOs are basically smart contracts where which automatically manages a particular system. So there will be token holders who will have power to vote for certain uh, things that are happening in that society or in that management. So that is a DAO. So quickly, I'll explain you the system architecture of our project. So basically, we have a web application which will run our virtual environment. We have a live block server, so this will handle our position of each of the players or each of the avatars. So this will help us in multiplayer, like placing all of the users in the virtual environment and syncing their movements and positions. Then we have board service. So board and logging service, these are basically for whiteboard and let's say logging in for a user and all of that. We have a server that would run the logic. And then later we have the smart contract, which will help us achieving the funding and the DAO agent of our project. And we are using MetaMask to integrate the Web3 wallet. This is once again the uh, brief system, the architecture. So we are using PeerJS WebRTC to sync the audio data and the board data. Then later, these are few of the designs that we are currently designing. So this is the university. This is the classroom where students can join. There will be a board. This is a library where there will be ebooks and other things where students can come and study. And we have a research project section where we will be demonstrating research projects of students and faculties, and management or student or faculties have an option to fund a particular project. So when we are using blockchain, we have this discussion on the performance, the cost to implement a blockchain-based system. So we have run a simulation of multiple transactions happening on blockchain, and the average block time was 13.8 seconds. Although it is a bit slower than your Web2 based systems, but 13.8 seconds is not a bad time, and we will be looking on to improve the system. So also there comes a discussion about the gas prices, the transaction costs that would take. So now, on an average, we have seen that gas price of 27,000 we are getting, which is around equivalent to $0.05, which is almost equivalent to your Web2 based like API pricing or anything. So this is a chart where uh, for each epoch, we are getting a gas price of this along with that epoch comparison, and this is the processing time. Moving on to conclusion and future work. So what we will be focusing next is basically having a real world demo where students can join. They can start interacting with each other, and we will be noting down um, their interactions, their feedback, and trying to improve our system, trying to improve our blockchain uh, transaction times, decreasing our gas prices by opting into layer two blockchains where it's almost gasless transactions. So students and faculties won't have to spend any additional gas price to do a transaction. And we are also implementing a DAO, so we will take help of college management to discuss what all management structure should be there, what all who should all be the token holders, and what would be the token amount, and all of that. And that would bring me to the end of my presentation. Now I'm open for questions.
Yeah. Uh, what will be the, you can say, future of if I take AR VR with
Mhm.
respect to education?
Right. So, hi Geeta.
Yeah.
So the future is Web3 and Metaverse, I would say, because it offers much more immersiveness, much more interaction, uh, and down the line, the prices for the barrier of entry becomes smaller and smaller. The headsets you would use to get into a immersive experience would decrease down in cost. The size, the weight of them would decrease down in the cost, and uh, if it is providing a better immersive, better experience to the users, uh, I think it would be the next future where everybody would be on board to use metaverse and similar technologies, AR and VR.
Okay, you are using blockchain, right? So
Yes,
that can be used to store securely the student records, course materials, maybe transcripts.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
And as well as any important documents. Maybe you maybe encrypting in the digital ledger, right?
yes.
So could it be any other option or blockchain will be the best?
So we opted in blockchain because I think I missed out on one of the scenario in my presentation. I will quickly gloss over that. So basically, we have why we opted blockchain is let's say in funding scenarios where we have a certain amount of college fund and that should be dispersed to the students. Let's say a student who opts in for college project funding, the college can in the smart contract they can provide milestones which the student has to submit a proof to, and based on each milestone passed, an automated disbursement of that amount is done using the smart contract. So this was our major use case for using blockchain, and also one more use case was, as I said, the DAO, where the management can automatically uh, this is like true democratization of management of college of universities. So we thought of applying blockchain use case in this way. And one more application that you have mentioned, storing files, documents, student report cards, or things like that securely on blockchain. So
Okay.
that was the use case for us.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Parikshit. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Geeta. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, guys. Thank you. I'll stop sharing this.
Moving forward with the presentations, now I would like to call Gunandini T to present her paper on Green Construction Project Management, a bibliometric analysis. You may please start your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Gunanandini T from Amrita School of Business, Coimbatore. I'm here to present our paper on Green Construction Project Management, a bibliometric analysis. Construction industry has been found as a significant contributor to the environmental degradation, and incorporating sustainable approach into building design and construction practices can be quite a good option to reduce the effect of construction industry on the environment. Traditional construction practices rely heavily on non-renewable resources, and also it produces a huge amount of waste which cannot be uh, resolved or reduced, and it also contributes to habitat destruction and causes a lot of air pollution and land pollution. And we have tried to answer these three research questions. First, how have the concept of green implementation in construction industry has been investigated in the terms of year, region, research technique,
Hello,
and
good
outputs?
Nandini.
Yes.
Could you do it as a slideshow? Because the slides are not moving. It's introduction right now.
Has it not changed now?
No. Now it changed. Yes.
Okay. So the first research question we tried to answer was how the concept of green implementation has been done in construction industry in terms of various factors, and what are all the limitations of the existing literature so far, and the possibilities of future research to be done in this green construction management. And this is a methodology for study. The first was to select the database from which we'll choose our papers, and we used certain keywords to select the
Gunandini,
articles.
uh,
Yes.
please turn your presentation into slide share mode, as it's taking time to change the slide.
Is it okay now?
I guess there is some issue that your presentation is not going to the slide share mode. You may please continue in this only.
Okay. After selecting the articles using the keywords, and we have used certain keywords to filter the articles, and we have done a bibliometric analysis using BiblioShiny using R, and then we have found the future research direction, findings, and discussion. So we found a total of 1,597 relevant papers, and the search terms we used were green and construction, green and project management, green and construction project management, and our tools for analysis were Scopus and BiblioShiny. The study period for this was from 1983 to 2022. And to give a summary of the literature review we did, the aim was to give advice on how to modify the traditional building methods to green building methods, which is also cost effective and economically good. It also gives a comparison on the cost and potential benefits of green construction. And it also lists the factors affecting green building construction, efficiency, and sustainability, and to understand the significance of project management in achieving the sustainable goals. And it also talks about frameworks for evaluating the environmental performance of building project. So this framework provides a process that contributes to continual site operation monitoring and improvements. Some papers also talks about LEED, which is leadership in energy and environmental design. This is a framework that regulates buildings and certifies buildings based on their energy efficiency and sustainable practices. And this study also identifies the difficulties project managers face when carrying out green construction projects. And this paper will give a knowledge base for future scholars who want to research in this green project area. So this is a word cloud.
Hello,
Which,
Gunanandini. Slides are not changing. Still, it is on methodology.
hope it is visible now.
Yes, it's showing this sustainability, green building.
Yes, this is the word cloud. These are all the words frequently used in the paper's research so far, and the font size varies with the frequency of those words used. And I've listed the top cited studies in this area. And the first paper talks about the using green project management techniques, how it can improve the sustainability in buildings. And the second paper talks about the difficulties project managers face. And uh, there were also few papers that talked about incorporating technological components into project management. And one such paper was talking about cloud computing. And there were also some leadership traits identified for project managers who handle green construction projects. And out of all the authors, we could find that Huang was the most influential author with 14 documents in this area of green construction project. And he has also been cited the most number of times with 243 citations. And when coming to the findings of this bibliometric analysis, we could find that there were a lot of listings of skill sets and knowledge areas required by project managers in handling project management, and also how the renewable energy sources can be used and sustainable practices can be incorporated into buildings. And the major finding was that green construction projects demand an integrated strategy for communication, where technology could be a great part to help enhancing communication. And this thematic evolution shows the how each themes inside this green construction has been evolved from the early 1980s to the present time. And these were the top 10 challenges identified. As we know, sustainable practices or green construction requires a long time, and there are no subcontractors to carry out construction services. And there's also uncertainty in the availability of materials and equipment we require for green construction. And as we said, communication is the major part, and there is an increased need for communication, and there may be frequent changes because we're used to the traditional methods. And this also requires pre-planning and preparing for other construction methods, which there should be an alternative to. And the limitations we found were most of these researches were done in countries like China, Australia, the US, and Singapore. And the most collaborated country was China. And a project management framework for evaluation was mentioned, as we said, about LEAD, but there was no particular framework or guidelines for construction practices or pre-planning, which is required for a green project. And as we talked about the leadership traits of a project manager, there was no mentioning of skills required for other employees. So that would be a scope for future research. And very limited research has been done on incorporating technologies into green construction. As we said, only one paper talked about cloud computing and very few papers about other technological aspects. So this could also act as a wider scope for research. And this is a thematic map which gives us the different areas for future research. And we can find that construction and sustainable development is has a very wider scope for research in the future. And to conclude, green construction project management is a very crucial strategy in construction industry. As we can see, construction is one of the major contributors to the economy and also has a very significant influence on environment. So by using this construction practice and green and sustainable strategies, we can contribute to a more sustainable future, which could be good for the environment and also for the community. And these are the references, the different articles I've chosen. And thank you. I'm open to questions.
Yeah. Okay. Only literature survey has been carried out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what will be your proposed solution?
We have found the different areas for future scope. And when we started this research, we couldn't find the collation of all the findings in green construction. So this paper would act as a collated work for other scholars who would be interested in this area of research.
Okay. What are the principles of green building?
The first one is, of course, the energy usage, the resources, whether it is renewable or not, and the methods followed for the waste, for managing the waste.
Are these principles?
These are the different criteria by which we look for sustainability in buildings, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, what could be the aspects of sustainability
in construction?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the materials and equipment we use for the construction, and the energy resources we choose, and also the methods we use for the longer run, starting from water and other maintenance procedures also.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Gurunandini.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Moving towards our next presentation, now I would like to call M. Pavitra to present her paper on uh, Immunizing Agriculture, Crafting a Strategy IoT-based Architectural Design for Future Growth. You may please start your presentation.
Okay, sir. The screen is visible. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Good morning to all. I'm M. Pavitra, full-time research scholar, Department of Computer Science from Chikana Government Arts College. My title is Illuminating Agriculture, Crafting a Strategy, IoT-based Architectural Design for Future Growth. Here the agenda including a introduction, area of focus, proposed architecture model, material and methods, result and discussion, conclusion and references. Let's begin with introduction. Agriculture is a vital field which is majorly affected in this modern world due to improper method followed by farmers, which affect the crop yield deeply, especially water scarcity region, by these poor management practices, which can be rectified and corrected by using of IoT. IoT can connect everyday object to internet. It enables data-driven decision making and automation. It conveniences for all the industries, and farmers need to adopt it. Objective of our study is by integration of IoT in agriculture has potential to revolutionize farming practice and enhancing productivity. Farmers can collect the real-time data from the field, such as a soil moisture level, temperature, humidity, for the understanding of environmental condition and provide the data to decision support system. And focusing on enhancing monitoring and irrigation management schedules with the efficient water and energy use, with consideration for includes connection routes, data processing speed, level up security and safety, execution time. Research in digital agriculture focusing on developing a user-friendly and affordable tool for smallholder farmers. This paper describing an IoT architecture for intelligent farm automation in agricultural area. Inclusion of self-contained irrigation prototypes showcase the practical application at the research level. These are the merits of proposed model: water conservation, resource optimization, labor efficiency, environmental sustainability, and improving profitability. This is our proposed architectural model. It consists of a 4-layer, namely perception layer, network layer, middleware, and application layer, respectively. The perception layer allows also known as a physical layer. It consists of sensors and used to collecting a real-time data. The data are transmitting through the network layer. That index are processed by middleware or data processing layer, and it is visualized in this application layer for the user. Further, let me know the layers upcoming slides. The perception layer is a lowest level of our architecture model, which gathering a data, likely humidity, temperature, water level, and illumination, and etc. by using these sensors. Then the data is processed using embedded devices, and after furthering process and analysis, it is routed towards a upper layer via the network layer. The network layer is the second layer of our architecture model. It's connect to devices it connect the devices wired or wirelessly. The communication system for smart range, medium, and long distance. We propose the wireless sensor network and controllers for the self-contained irrigation system that collect the information on soil moisture, temperature, and other factors transmitting to the index to controller. The controller controlling the watering or not, which action based on the model using Zigbee, Wi-Fi, and cellular communication technologies. The figures represent the wireless communication technology depending on transmission distance, short distance, medium, and long, and comparison of these technologies from our background studies. Data processing layer. This is a third layer of our architecture model. Our proposed system, this layer is accountable for the gathering unorganized information from the gadgets, processing it and making the accessible for further inquiry and action. We securely store the collected data and analysis in the result. The workflow for notifying content provider about the false information. Remote control and mechanism allow the farmers to control the field functions like irrigation system, pump, and etc. through the IoT platform based on the decision support system recommendation. The application layer, the last layer of our architecture model, it's nothing but a user interface, such as a mobile app or web app, is used to user can access this application from their field anywhere. This is materials and methods of our prototype self-contained irrigation system. So we using some hardware, namely Arduino Uno microcontroller. It is an open source microcontroller. It's easy to use hardware and software. Arduino Uno can input a various sensors as input and reproduce the given input recurring from actuators and motors, etc. Humidity and temperature sensor DHT11. The humidity sensors consist of metal plates. It's known as electrodes, which molecules having ability to hold the moisture when it's measure the high relative humidity while high current passing through it, vice versa. Soil moisture sensor. The soil moisture sensor is stimulating the wetness of the soil, measure the volumetric content of the water inside the earth, and give us to moisture level as an output. The sensors can measure the temperature from 0 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius and humidity from 20% to 90% with the accuracy of plus or minus 1 degree Celsius. The Wi-Fi module is an independent system on chip with the built-in TCP/IP protocol stack, which allows the microcontroller to access the Wi-Fi network. LCD display used to displaying a result like a soil condition wet or not. This is our proposed algorithm for self-contained irrigation system. An algorithm for self-contained irrigation based on the soil moisture and temperature used to detecting a soil state in is wet or dry. By applying the soil moisture content percentage equal to wet minus dry divided by wet into 100. When SMC, I mean soil moisture content percentage is low or high, the watering is on or off respectively. This is implementation result. The table shows the values obtained from sensors when the soil moisture reach the minimum threshold value of 25%. Motor will start automatically and start the irrigation. It will be stopped when reach the 75%. The LED display used to displaying the temperature and moisture motor status. This prototype is just an initial stage of our research work. It's not a complete one. In future, we implementing all the technology and contained in our proposed architecture model. End with a conclusion. The architectural model focus will be on how to efficiently utilizing the resources on agricultural land without recurring human interaction. IoT-based irrigation system can precisely controlling a water usage by adjusting water flow and timing based on real-time environmental conditions. It reduces the water wastage and user allowing them to manage their irrigation application from anywhere. It helps to farmers make a informed decision about crop rotation and resource allocation. These are my references. Thank you. Go with questions now. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Do you use any data set or your own data set, or how you have experimented?
Ma'am, we collecting a real-time data from the sensors, ma'am. Now
So-
we only examine the real-time data, and based on the data, our system will be activated, ma'am. Only real-time data, ma'am. Comparison and the data sets are used in our
Okay,
future,
fine.
ma'am.
How much maximum distance you have considered?
Ma'am, I'm audible?
Yeah.
Ma'am, now it's only our research level, ma'am. We implementing in the agricultural land in future, ma'am.
Okay. After detecting the moisture from the soil, are you taking any decisions whether the plant is to be watered or not? And if yes, are you automatically turning on the power to water the field?
Ma'am, it's based on the moisture in soil, ma'am. The data collected from the real time, ma'am, and the data so transmitted to the our controller. It's comparing it to consideration, ma'am, like our uh, sensor data, ma'am, like upon
Hmm. Hello.
ma'am, we use our separate power supply, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you,
I'm
ma'am.
audible.
Thank you.
Okay. இந்த டேட்டாவை பேஸ் பண்ணி அது ஒர்க் ஆகும் கண்டிஷன் தான்.
Moving towards the next presentation, now I would like to call Kate T to present her paper on IoT-based automation of the pre-built solar system. You may please start your presentation.
Let me share my screen. Hi, is the screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. So the topic of our project is IoT-based automation of the pre-built solar desalination system. Our objective was to enable IoT automation in order to reduce any manual intervention that we had in the solar desalination system that was established in our college. And by implementing this, if we were able to be successful, we wanted to implement this on a larger scale so that potable water could be made accessible to rural areas in order to curb waterborne diseases. This is the overview of our college desalination system, which had manual intervention in it. This is a typical model that involves a person to manually switch on the taps, collect the water at the end, and send it to a laboratory for testing, if it is potable or not. So what we did is we deployed a user-friendly monitoring system for data acquisition and water quality parameter control using IoT techniques. We used sensors and actuators for monitoring water levels in the tank. Sensors used were ultrasonic sensor and an actuator in order to move the tap if the water level is full in the tank. Then we used a water velocity monitor in order to measure the velocity of water as it affects the amount of water that will be generated after the steam and condensation. In the end, to eliminate the laboratory method of testing water's pH, TDS, turbidity, calcium present in it, carbonates present in it, we used Arduino and pH sensor, TDS sensor, turbidity sensor. And at the end, we connected all of the data available from this to an app in order to visualize it and understand how the temperature, air, and sun's radiation affect the production of water. These are certain parameters established by Indian Drinking Water Specification to test the water in a laboratory. Out of this, with the help of 3 sensors, by researching, we decided to measure it on our own. So, what was the background study? With the rising technology, there is always a need for water demand and environmental changes. Integration of IoT, machine learning, communication, and sensors will optimize this desalination process. It will enhance the overall system's performance and transform hard water into drinkable water. We went through various research papers that had studies for using Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and other sensors for the same, out of which we decided which three were more reliable and gave the accurate results to use in our project. The first one, monitoring of solar still desalination system using IoT techniques. It had a simple solar still, a solar heater, and used a remote IoT monitoring system. It just collected the data. The second one used Arduino based system to monitor the water quality, but it did not use pH sensor in that. The third paper that is mentioned, it considered factors such as air temperature, relative humidity, and they had it posted on our website with the help of Zigbee. And in the last one, there was Raspberry Pi that was used to monitor the system and guarantee a safe supply of drinking water. By combining all these, we came up with our system. This is the high level architecture of our system. An actuator and a buzzer with the help of a ultrasonic sensor will detect the amount of water in a water tank and give a notification about it in the user's app. After which the water will pass through the solar panels, get heated, get converted into the steam, where we will be measuring the velocity of the water passing, and it will also send a message on the app about the velocity of the water. Once water passes here, it is passed through a condenser where it condenses, and then it is collected in a tub where we measure the pH, turbidity, and total dissolved solids in it with the help of Arduino. All of this data gets logged into Firebase, which is connected to the backend app. This app has been designed where you can see the current analysis if the water is potable or not, and we get seasonal analysis as well depending on the types of seasons that we face here. What was the scalability? We have done a cost-effective large scale implementation can be done with the help of R model. However, due to the lack of availability of certain sensors like calcium sensor or a carbonate sensor, it was not possible to analyze all the water parameters. But we made sure that we were analyzing the major three parameters that we had researched by asking and interrogating people from the lab where the water gets tested. The major IoT tools that were used were a water velocity sensor, a turbidity sensor, pH sensor, Arduino, a servo motor that is an actuator, a buzzer and a LED, and an ultrasonic sensor for measuring the water level in a tank, a TDS sensor, and for backend we used Java, and Arduino IDE. The readings from the three different sensors are logged into Google Sheets, which are then synced with the Firebase real-time database. So they can be accessed via the app. And then the app had been deployed on our college intranet, where the user could log in and understand how the system is working, whether it is giving accurate results or not. These were the certain readings that we had obtained on our own with the help of the sensors. And this was the app that had been deployed on our college intranet. It had a login page and two sections for real-time readings and data visualization. The real-time readings concluded whether the water was hard water or soft water. Soft, that means it was potable, and it also gave us graphical readings. Here we had, for our accuracy, we had considered lab readings and our sensor readings if our project was accurate or not.
Sorry for the interruption, but please conclude your presentation as you have only 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, and these were the research papers that we had gone through. Thank you. We are open for questions.
Hello.
Yes.
What are the challenges that you faced during your experimentation?
So we had to build a smaller prototype as the actual sensors and the actual actuator that we were supposed to use were not able to move the tap that had been installed by the municipal corporation because of the funding that we had received from the college. But for a higher level implementation, a good actuator that costed around 10,000 could be used for the same.
This is the only challenge?
This was one challenge, and the other challenges were while testing, we had to take care of the seasons that we were testing in. So our project started around June. So the rainy season had to be accounted, the winters had to be accounted. In winters, since it is not very sunny, the amount of water that gets heated in the solar desalination panel is lesser as compared to summers.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving towards the next presentation, now I would like to call Aman Push to present her paper on liquidity regulation and banking performance, the industry perspective. You may please start your presentation.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Uh, so let me introduce myself first. My name is Aman Push. I am a full-time PhD scholar in Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Nagpur. I'm doing my PhD under the esteemed guidance of Dr. Shailesh Rastogi. The topic the research which I want to present today is liquidity regulation and bank performance, the industry perspective. So in this the study examines the impact of new liquidity framework on the performance of Indian banks. So here we need to understand what is this new liquidity framework. So these frameworks are given by Basel Committee of Banking Supervision. This is a international body which provides guidance to in all the banks globally and come up with a different framework for effective coordination and quality improvement of the banking services. So the focus area of this committee was capital adequacy of banks. So they should have sufficient capital to for their working. But when they see the financial crisis happening and they saw that even though the banks they were meeting the regulatory capital requirements, still they faced a crisis, and this happened due to the insufficient liquidity they had, and which led to defaults and triggering a severe global economic meltdown. Looking at all these problems and how to uh, smoothen the way forward, they came up with Basel Framework 3, that is International Framework for Liquidity Risk Measurement, Standard and Monitoring. Under this, there were two standards, that is liquidity coverage ratio and net stable funding ratio. So let me explain you what is the liquidity coverage ratio, LCR. It mandates the bank to hold sufficient high quality liquid asset to help them fulfill at least 30 days obligation in case of stress like situation. Whereas NSFR is designed to achieve long-term resilience by incentivizing banks to finance their activities through more stable funding sources. These two standards aim at achieving different, but they have complementary objective, which is stability and resilience. What our study is trying to understand is how these two framework, liquidity framework, which was given by Basel Committee and which is now implemented in India, has effect on performance of the banks. To have a holistic understanding of performance, we have taken profitability measures of the bank and non-profitability factors also. such as ownership concentration, transparency and disclosure, and ICT. Moving ahead, the methodology which we have taken is in-depth interview method. It is a qualitative research instrument. In this, we had one-to-one interaction with the respondents over a semi-structured interview, and it is an exploratory investigation. The sampling techniques here which are used is convenience sampling in the starting and then snowball sampling. While deciding the samples, we kept in mind that there are certain selection criteria of the experts which we have chosen. Those experts should have worked in the banking sector for minimum of 10 years, and majority of our respondents have worked in banking sector for 15, 20, even 20 plus years. And then the second is they should be in a managerial position, so that they have a very good overview of the functioning of the banks. They should be from public and private banks only in India. So these were the themes which we came upon during the interviews. These were for LCR and NSFR. The findings which we have found is that the effect of LCR, liquidity coverage ratio, has two dimensions. That is one in the short run and other in the long run. The bankers had to say that in the short run, when the banks are fulfilling their liquidity coverage ratio, that is it decreases the bank's profitability. Why? Because there's additional cost attached to it. Additional cost in acquiring these high quality liquid assets, which has a negative relationship with profitability. So in the long run, we see that if the banks are trying to fulfill the LCR requirement, they are facing reduced profitability. But in the long run, what happens when the banks are able to meet these regulations, they already acquired these high quality liquid assets, their credit worthiness will go up, and which will help them to raise funds at a lower cost, and they possess high quality asset. So this will optimize their revenue, and in the long run they will have a better revenue and profitability will increase. So this is a dimension with LCR on profitability. Moving ahead on NSFR on profitability, it reveals that there is an adverse effect. Why adverse effect? Because a compliant necessary bank to ensure stable funding sources. So this has lengthened the maturity period of the liability and issue long-term debts and maintain stable deposit. These long-term liabilities elevate the interest expenses and leading to a decline in net interest margin. Decline in net interest margin reduces the profitability of the banks, and so NSFR has a negative impact on profitability of the bank. Though due to NSFR, the banks are more stable now. They are more resilient to deal with a crisis situation, but the profitability of the banks will reduce. The effect of LCR and NSFR on non-performing assets. Non-performing assets are those assets of the bank which are not giving it proper returns. So LCR construct a more stable and safe investment portfolio, which reduces the overall risk. With the reduction of risk, the non-performing assets of the bank is decreasing, and so it is positively affecting the bank. The assets which bank possess are high quality and it is giving proper return, whereas NSFR focus on the liability side of the bank, so it has no bearing on non-performing assets. Coming to non-profitable parameters such as ownership structure, transparency and disclosure, and ICT, the expert had to say that the banks operate in a very intricate environment, and these experts believed that these factors do have effect on liquidity and regulatory compliances of the bank, but the understanding is very complex, and they said that uh, there needs to be more sophisticated research technology techniques to understand this, as on the surface level we weren't able to come to a conclusive evidence that if LCR and NSFR has actual bearing on ownership structure, transparency and ICT. Moving ahead, these are the implications
Sorry
of.
for the interruption, but kindly conclude your presentation as you have only 1 minute remaining.
Okay. So the findings are that the result on the association between LCR and the performance call of the bank to maintain balanced liquid asset. This will enable them to meet regulatory mandate without compromising on their profit. Whereas in NSFR, they must adopt growth-oriented compliance, which should use long-term liability to finance assets. Compliance with NSFR reduces profitability, which may induce the impacted bank to shift to business models that are taking more risk. So in this situation, if there is change, the national regulators should take actions if needed. The policymakers should equip the market so that they are self-sufficient in meeting these new liquidity need at a reasonable cost. Finally, the bank should explore how the ownership concentration, transparency, and disclosure ICT are impacting the liquidity framework. So these are the implications. Um, these are the references which were used in the research. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, Aman.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is liquidity standard?
Ma'am, liquidity here is that if the banks are holding certain assets, how easily it can get converted into cash. So say that banks are holding cash, they are also holding stocks. So stocks can be sold in the market, or government securities they are holding, they can be easily sold in the market because there is continuous demand every day, and that can be converted into cash to pay out the liabilities of the bank.
And what about this base 3 liquidity regulation?
Basel 3, ma'am. So there are certain Basel 1, 2, 3. Over the years, it has started. I mean, next framework started coming, and Basel 3. What now the Basel Committee has concentrated on is liquidity framework. They initially were more reliant towards capital adequacy. Now they feel that banks should have certain liquidity with them so that they are able to manage during a crisis situation.
And are there any types of liquidity?
Ma'am, here liquidity is not types of liquidity. I don't know and I'm not aware about also. But here liquidity is measured in short-term and long-term period. So if they are able to meet less than 1 year and more than 1 year, so in that way during the as per the time period, it can be divided into multiple short-term, long-term, medium-term.
No, but you should know the types. There are two types: market liquidity and accounting liquidity. And on which type you are concentrating?
Market liquidity here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Moving towards the next presentation, now I would like to call S. Ramaswamy to present his paper on software supply chain resiliency at scale. You may please start your presentation. S. Ramaswamy. Moving towards the next presentation, now I would like to call uh, Tanya Jethani to present her paper on women safety wearable device using an IoT-based framework technology. You may please start your presentation.
Just a minute, I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
I would like my colleague Piyush to start.
Yeah, thank you, Sanya. Can we please confirm if I'm visible and audible?
Yes, you are visible and audible as well.
Okay, thank you so much. A wonderful wife, an outstanding friend, a marvelous daughter, an adorable sister, a nurturing mother. WOMAN. The word says it all. Ensuring women's safety is not just a duty, it's a commitment to fostering a world where every woman can walk with confidence, unburdened by fear, and empowered to live her fullest potential. Greetings of the day to one and all present here. Today, my team, Sanya Jethani and myself, Piyush Motwani, present to you our paper on the topic, Women's Safety Wearables Design Using an IoT-Based Framework Technology. Next slide, please. First things first, I would like to express my deep gratitude and sincere thanks to the entire team of the 8th International Conference on Information and Communication Technology for Competitive Strategies, the ICTCS 2023, for giving us this platform. Indeed, a lot of research and, of course, this platform with a lot of hard work, and this Zoom meeting, in fact, means a lot to us. So thank you so much for that. And, of course, may the best output thrive. Next slide, please. Okay, talking of the contents, introduction, literature survey, research gap, materials and methods, system design, mathematical modeling, and all till conclusion, whatever were the requirements, we have covered all of it in the PPT, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we did in the making of it. Next slide, please. So this research paper concentrates on designing women's safety wearables with IoT technology to tackle these safety issues. The main goal of this research is to investigate and create women's safety wearables using IoT technology. The focus is on integrating sensors, connectivity, and data conversions within these wearables to develop intelligent safety solutions. The objective is to build a practical prototype that caters to the specific safety requirements of women. This includes real-time threat detection, timely alerts, and smooth communication with authorities or support networks. I would now like to pass it on to my teammate.
Now, when it comes to literature survey, we have surveyed around 15 papers from the year 2015 to the year 2023. While going through these papers, we learned more about IoT devices used for smart wearables. We learned about the different devices that have been used and implement, like the algorithms that have been implemented, the communication protocols. We have seen the methodology used in designing and implementing the self-protecting system. We have even seen the discussion used for the wearable technology. While going through these papers, we came across some limitations and some research gap. So to address the research gap, did my slide change? Can someone confirm?
No.
Just a minute. Yes. So to address the research gap, most of the devices that were made were basically used for manual, like it was used manually. There was manual intervention or external limitations in addressing women's safety challenges. And when it comes to existing safety solutions, it exhibit critical gaps in addressing prevalent safety, that is harassment, assault, and fear of violation in public spaces. And there was no use of automated algorithms such as for detection of stress and danger. Despite efforts to raise awareness and implement legal measures, there was still need for more effective safety solutions that empower women. So to fill in these research gaps, we implemented a paper, and to start with materials and methods, we used the following materials such as the microcontroller STM32L4. So basically this is a microcontroller which has low power and high performance, and it helps us perform complicated tasks and complex tasks using low power, and it gives us a better performance. It gives us a robust security, and it is more flexible. Then we use heartbeat sensor. So heartbeat sensor is used to detect the pattern of the heart rate. And when one person is stressed, the heart rate increases, and that what is detected using algorithm. Then temperature sensor. Temperature sensor is used to detect the temperature of a body. So while doing so, when one person is stressed or one person is in a dangerous situation, the body temperature rises, which can be taken as an input in our system. Then using buzzer and button. Buzzer is basically used to alert the surrounding. We've even made use of image capture module, which will help us capture the images, which will act as an evidence in the near future. Then DAC and ADC and other algorithms. So DAC stands for digital to analog converter, and ADC stands for analog to digital converter. So basically these change the signals according to the data we need. Then we even use Cloud Connect, which will store the data. So as we can see in the pie chart, we have made use of heart sensor, that is 40%. That technology will be used 40%. Temperature sensor will make use of 30%. Image capture will be 20%. DAC and ADC will be 10%. Now I would like Piyush to continue.
Thank you, Sanya. Now, as you can see on your screen, talking of the system design, so like she mentioned it all, the STM32L4 microcontroller is designed to consume very low power, which is important for wearable devices that are typically powered by a small battery. This means that the device can operate for longer periods without needing a recharge, making it more convenient for the user. So now let's move on to the mathematical model. Next slide, please. Now, anxiety and stress make your heart work harder. When you're under stress, your body's fight or flight response is triggered and your blood pressure rises and your heart beats faster. Thus, heart rate can be used to monitor your stress levels and keep it under check. Now, in this algorithm, PNN50 and RMSSD, what does that mean? Percentage of successive RR intervals that differ by more than 50 milliseconds. And RMSSD is the root mean square of successive RR interval differences. Now, how does this algorithm work? Imagine breaking down the heart rate information into smaller parts like the chapters in a book. Choose a window size of 560 heart rate intervals. That is the sliding window technology that we've used, the algorithm, in fact, like 560 pages in our book, and move it by 20 intervals each time, like flipping 20 pages. Now, for each window or group of pages, measure two things, the PNN50 and the RMSSD, like I just mentioned before, which is how much the intervals differ by 50 milliseconds and how the intervals vary. Compare the measurements of the current window with the one just before it. And if both PNN50 and RMSSD decrease by more than 9%, move on. If yes, continue with the algorithm, else rest state is detected. Find the average rate for the first window and compare the average heart rate of the first window with the fourth window. Now, if the average heart rate increases by more than 5%, it suggests that stress is detected. Proceed, else rest state is detected. Now, we found signs of stress in the heart rate data, and if the average heart rate didn't increase significantly, it again detects a non-stressful state. This analysis continues over real time, and we have either identified stress or a dangerous situation or confirmed a non-stressful state. And if there is stress, the notification is triggered to where this device is connected. Next slide, please. Now, having spoken of the model, the mathematical model, how does this effectively work? So as you can see the flowchart or the pictorial view on your screen, the woman wears the smart wearable device, maybe a belt or a bracelet, a prototype that we will show you in the coming slides. The wearable continuously monitors the wearer's vital designs such as heart rate and body temperature. The device's algorithms, like we just mentioned, analyze the collected data to detect any signs of stress. Now, there is also a buzzer activation. If the algorithm detects a potential threat, the buzzer gets activated, which helps the woman. I mean, it is an alternative or just an extra feature that we've added, that you press the buzzer and it emits a noise that can help the surrounding people get alert, or they might, understand that there is something going wrong. That is just an extra feature, whereas heart rate and stress is already being calculated at all times. Image capture upon activating the buzzer and the algorithm once detecting stress. The image capture algorithm comes into picture, and it collects the images of the surrounding area and puts it via crowd. Now, the captured images are processed within the wearable device to optimize image quality and reduce the file size. And simultaneously, the wearable automatically triggers an emergency distress message to predefined contacts or emergency services via SMS or the app that this has been authenticated with. Now, this distress message, along with the option to view captured images, can serve as evidence, or it can also help the nearby authorities to actually come and help you to the best of their ability and as a faster response. Now, this wearable continues to monitor the wearer's vital signs, like we mentioned before. At real time, it monitors continuously. The algorithm also is in progress via cycles. So that is the complete picture of how the complete algorithm and the pictorial view that you just saw works. So next slide, please.
Sorry for the interruption, Piyush, but kindly conclude your presentation as you have only 1 minute remaining.
So now coming to a prototype, this is a prototype. It is a wearable device. So we can see it is basically watch with the embedded system and belt with the embedded system. So though it may look like a regular wear, but it has a smart wear embedded inside, that is STM32L4. And it will be having various features such as it will be integrated with sensors, actuators, and inbuilt algorithms, which will help us detect the stress level and other features too. Now, coming to the future scope, in future, we plan to explore more. We plan to add more sensors, which will give us better results. We plan to integrate AI and ML, which will help us recognize the threat. Then we will try to optimize the power consumption and investigate sustainable sources for prolonged battery life. Then we'll be planning to integrate more user interface we'll be planning to integrate more user interface elements. We'll be connecting with various smart city initiatives and law enforcement. And when it comes to privacy and security, we'll be adding more algorithms for safety. Then for conclusion, I would like to conclude by saying a smart wearable brand represents a significant leap in leveraging technology for women's safety, equipped with features such as SOS buzzer, advanced sensors, and algorithm. It empowers women to take charge of their protection. Beyond technology, it even is a step towards a society where women feel safe and empowered. As technology and safety measures integrate, this research contributes insight for both researchers and practitioners, paving the way for a future where women navigate the world with confidence and autonomy. These are the references that we used. That's all from our side. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to ask, what are the challenges you have faced during the implementation?
Ma'am, talking of the challenges, the very first challenge is basically once we implement the complete project, to make people at least.
Is it implemented?
Ma'am, the implementation of the model is in process. That is something that we're working on in college right now. And since this was a theoretical concept of a research paper, that is what we thought of
Okay.
presenting, a
Okay.
prototype.
Okay.
So talking of challenges, one major challenge is how to make people wear the brand. You know, when I talk of any watch or any belt or a bracelet, what is the first thing that you look for? A design. So in this project, the first thing that we looked for is, of course, the internal features, but how to convince people to wear the brand. And also the position of the camera to actually capture the image of the surrounding or where the threat is coming from. So these are some challenges that we are working on currently, like Sanya mentioned, of the future scope. So this is something which we will integrate in our project. And of course, the start to review a lot of papers to see where the gap is coming and something that we can come in to fill up that particular gap. So these were some challenges that we faced, and I think we are working on some of them.
We will be working only on heartbeats, and I think you talked about BP also.
Right.
Yeah. So what type of issue means what the regarding the safety of a woman, that which problems that you are going to concentrate?
Ma'am, for problems, like I just mentioned, that the algorithm that we're using is basically a data set comprising of various attributes. You know, for example.
No. What the issue that a particular woman is facing at a particular situation regarding her safety? So which type of issues you are going to concentrate?
So, ma'am, there are various issues such as like when a woman
there
is
are
going
various issues,
harassment.
but you are going to concentrate on what?
Ma'am, so harassment, violence. So, ma'am, like there are many rape cases that we hear about. So, ma'am,
Yeah,
we
but
plan to focus on that.
during the implementation, on which issue you are going to concentrate? There are various issues you talked about that, or you have noted in the literature survey also. But
Yes,
the implementation will go for which issues? Yeah, Piyush.
Yes, ma'am. So basically, the basic implementation, the baseline stands in terms of stress. Like Sanya mentioned, whether it's harassment, whether it's violence, the first thing that comes to mind is when someone's approaching you, the stress or the feeling of getting scared. That is what triggers your heartbeat, and that is what makes you, and it basically understands and makes us know that you are in a state of danger. That is something we are focusing on, a generalized scope of whatever can happen to you, be it any form of harassment.
Yeah, then when whichever is the situation, how the woman will be informing to whom and in what type, or what will be the way of communication?
Ma'am, basically, like we just mentioned of the hardware that you're wearing, either via belt or via your hand, the algorithms will connect to cloud, and from wherever this app was started or authenticated, a notification.
It will be continuously monitored.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Precisely.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, I would like to call our last presenter, A. Karnan, to present his paper on a comprehensive study on plant classification using machine learning tool. You may please start your presentation.
Yes. I will share my screen. So very good morning to all. So my name is Karnan, and I am doing my PhD from Annamalai University under the guidance of Dr. R. Raghupati sir, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Annamalai University. Today, I want to present my review paper. The review paper title is A Comprehensive Study on plant classification using machine learning model. The paper objectives of paper extensively explain the application of machine learning model in plant classification. This paper aimed to present thoroughly analysis of various machine learning algorithms, the feature extraction and selection techniques, data sets, and evaluation metrics used in the plant classifications. My review paper seek to discuss the practical application of plant classification. So what are the challenges in plant classification and future research direction? My paper making a valuable resource for researcher and a practitioner interested in using machine learning to classify and identify the plant species. Coming to the next, for classifying plants, a variety of machine learning model have been employed. The more established model like gradient boosting and Navi-based, as well as contemporary model like decision tree, support vector machine, random forest, and KNN. The visual representation of plant categorization model are displayed in figure 125. So first figure, decision tree. The decision tree is a non-parametric supervised learning algorithm. So non-parametric means it does not take any assumptions during the data processing. And next one, the random forest. The random forest work on the majority of voting mechanism to classify the plant species. And coming to the figure 3, the GPM, the gradient boosting machine. So combine the prediction from multiple distances to generate the final decisions. So coming to the fourth figure, the plan using the support vector machine. So find the find in the hyperplane in n dimensional. So n dimension means number of features to distinctly classify the plant species. So coming to the fifth diagram, KNN, the K nearest neighbor algorithm. The KNN classify the new data points based on the similarity measure to the earlier stored data points. It's based on the classify the KNN, K nearest neighbor algorithm. So coming to the feature extractions, the feature extraction is a crucial step for plant classification that involving transferring the raw data into the set of relevant feature that can be used for analysis. The feature extraction method aim to capture the distinctive and discriminative information for the plant images such as leaf shape, texture, and color patterns. The commonly used for 3 feature extraction techniques. One is the local binary patterns and histogram of oriented gradient, and third one scale invariant feature transformations. So coming to the feature selection is the process of choosing subset of most relevant feature from the extra feature set to improve the classification accuracy and reduce the computational complexity. The feature extraction can be enhance the performance of plant classification model by eliminating noise and redundant features. Here there are many feature selection techniques there. Here find out the filter methods and warper methods, and third one embodder methods. So coming to the data sets, I'm here list out the data sets 1 to 25. So these data sets are publicly available in Google websites. The data set researcher and practitioner can be used the data set, develop and evaluate the machine learning model. It's making easier to compare and benchmark different algorithms. These data play the vital role, advanced field, the computer vision, the machine learning for plant-related applications, helping to automate tasks such as the plant species identification, pest and disease detection, and biodiversity monitoring. So coming to the evaluation metrics, the table 2 contains different type of machine learning models just the machine learning models giving the different type of accuracies. So coming to the conclusion, this article provides the comprehensive overview of application of machine learning classification. It discusses the machine learning algorithm, feature methods, and their advantage and limitation in plant classification occurring the industries. The key challenges include the data availability, model interoperability with the personal solution like transfer learning and the expandable AI. This article undergoes the significant impact of machine learning in this field, emphasizing needing the research on ethical social implications. In conclusion, it offers valuable insights and highlights the potential avenue for future research in plant classifications. These are my references. Thank you.
How many paper you have referred, sir?
Ma'am, totally 45 papers. This is my reference paper.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I sincerely thanks our author for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during the 8th version and the previous 7 version of the conference. We will happy to have you in the 9th conference as well. All the presenter would be getting their digital certificates through the email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have already forwarded to Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months. Kindly cooperate with the teams of ICTCS 2023. I also want to thank our session chair for chairing the session, Professor Geeta for chairing the session. A token of appreciation to the chair on behalf of the team, ICTCS 2023 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partner. Thank you for your valuable presence.
Thank you
I
so
kindly
much.
request each and everyone to switch on your camera for a quick snapshot. Thank you for your time. Stay safe. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.